Hi everybody, thanks for coming. This is a wonderful turnout. So Xero is the focus for this month in this little wine time club that we have going. So can I introduce Karen Harris, Deb Lord, and my name's Sue Hart. And we've got some wonderful members of Bookkeepers here tonight, and we're going to be discussing Xero.
Okay, so you have to actually put an application into Xero to authorise them to take the funds out of your bank account. Once that's all set up, you just go into payroll, super, and put in the dates that the superannuation is due, and it will bring up all of the super for all of the employees, and you just double check it against your reports to make sure it's correct. It's called one-click super because you click once. Then the authorised person will receive a code to their mobile phone, and that code has to be entered to authorise the payment.
Yeah, so you have to make sure that all the employees are set up correctly. Yeah. Otherwise they say, no, you can't, can you go and put their USI? No, the member number. So they're really good at guiding you through what's missing, especially if you have a payroll that's like 30, 40 people. So so make sure that all your employees are set up correctly first. And then the Xero back end does a really good job.
But you can see if they're not set up, it'll have a line through them that it hasn't picked up their amount for the super.
Mostly if you get set up right, it's easy, just sort of,
it's the easiest and best way to do it.
Amazing.
Yes.
Just one other thing, you have to just be aware that there's a minimum subscription. It's only for people who have a $60
a month one.
Yeah.
So over 10 employees.
But it's well worth it. The extra $10 a month to save all that time is worth it. Well, I want to talk to you about the folders. Do you want to know about the scanning to the folders? Okay. So there's a little tiny icon, like a little folder icon, just next to the question mark and the email.
Yeah.
And then when you open that up, you can actually scan. There's like a little inbox, and you can scan all your documents to that particular email box. And then you can hook up purchase orders from that. So what we do at our office, we scan, upload and shred. So, or we email, we don't even touch paper. So emails come through, push it through to Xero and upload it.
And that's through that
email address.
Is
yes.
that every subscription has a different email address, but that's where you get it from,
Yes.
isn't it?
Cut and paste. Yeah,
Yes.
cut and paste.
So add it to you. The best thing is to tell your clients to add that, or yourself, just add it to your contacts and call it Xero Inbox, and then away you go instead of just copy and
When I
paste
did it through the touch, it automatically, I said add to my contacts on the phone and it did it.
Did it?
It
Oh,
labelled
right.
it X, I think it was XF or X something. I
Yeah.
put it straight in there.
Oh,
There's no
right,
way.
okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Are you using it like that? Are you using it to manage all your clients' documents?
I've only got little stuff, but yes.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really, really good, isn't it? Yeah. Because
It's
that's one of the questions where one of the topics tonight is about source documents
Yeah.
or working papers. And one of the great tools is to have a box where you can put everything in. So this is for your own work as well, as and also for client stuff as well. It's really, really
Yeah. Can I just maybe just show Deb a little bit? We haven't got obviously any examples in there. So I actually use it for some clients and attach the documents to every transaction. Do you do that at all, Sue?
Yeah.
So there's so many ways you could do it, because you can use the inbox just like a folder on your computer, and you could have down the side here, you could have January, February, March, April, and just enter the documents and drag them into the folders. But what I do is I attach it to the transaction, so they come in the inbox. There's a setting comes over here, and you just drop down and you go add to bill or add to spend money, and then you open it up and it splits the screen. So the actual invoice appears here, your transaction screen appears here. So you're actually doing the entry as you go along. So, and then as you said, for source documents and for I'm pretty much like Sue. It's sort of scan, enter and shred.
Yeah.
So
Another thing that's really good for is to put copies of bank statements in.
Yes.
Yes.
So you know how the accountants always want a copy of the 30 June bank statement?
Yeah.
If you've got that in there
That's
and
your
you've got
folder
access to
over here.
Xero files,
I've only started this year, do you want?
Or motor vehicle lease documents.
So how do you create? You just go to
New folder. Yeah,
and you
it's
can have as many as you want.
Yeah.
easy as.
And subfolders within your folders as well.
Is that happening now?
think so.
No, there's no subfolders
Oh,
just
isn't
yet.
it?
I don't think so. That is on the wish list. We need a list of another,
Yeah.
100 people to put their names against
Okay.
it.
Put that in.
Put that on the wish list.
What do you mean
And does it
subfolders?
cost anything
Within your
extra
folders.
for
Oh.
storage and all that sort
No.
of thing, or-
There are limits on the storage. I think if we went to the Xero help, it'd tell you. So depending on the type of subscription, so a standard has so much data, but I think it's like an
I thought it was a
incredible
lot.
amount.
It's a
Like,
lot.
It's
Yeah.
something that
It's
you
a
never,
lot.
unless you had really, really high volumes. I certainly haven't had any problem
I haven't
with
either, yeah.
storage, so.
I've got a client who's been on for 3 years and every single document is in there. So
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
no problems just yet, so.
And the other thing is too, if people have a resistance to it, the thing is you can upload and download at any time. So you can download those documents if someone's really OCD about it and put it onto a hard drive so they
Yeah.
have it themselves externally. And then you can always say to them, well, Xero, even if you stop your subscription tomorrow, Xero has to keep the documents there for 7 years.
Yeah.
So there's no security problems there as well.
Yeah.
Xero, you can't
Yes.
access it, as
Oh.
I said, no,
Okay, so
yes you
there's
can,
no-
they must
They
keep
don't have
the
any
file
documents
for
or
7
bank
years.
statements, merchant
What,
fees,
Xero?
everything.
Yes.
Everything goes in.
And how do they
Yeah,
access
yeah,
it?
you've got to pay a
Because I
subscription.
You
think
pay,
certain
you
fees.
can
Because
pay
of
a
what
fee
I
and you
just
can
got
retrieve the
tiny
file.
receipts.
Yeah.
I've been,
Store
when
file.
I upload,
Oh,
like, when I'm
that's
scanning
handy.
to know that.
And also,
So
receipt bank is the same, it's stored for 7 years. So that's like a
When you're
duplicate
cleaning
backup, you've got all your
messy.
documents within receipt bank and all your documents in Xero as well.
So down here is where I actually put in all the different files.
Yep, you set up your folders.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
You upload and take photos.
Yep.
And I've got like 20 of them down here.
Yes.
And I use it as their filing cabinet. So there's no, they don't have any documents at all. Bank statements, merchant fees, everything. Just
Everything
down.
goes in here.
Yeah.
Yep. Because I found, what I'm doing is just lots of tiny little receipts. I've been, when I've uploaded, like when I'm scanning them, I'm changing the name of the file so the
Yeah.
date is in front, so it's sorting by date.
Yes.
So it makes it sort of quick when you're cleaning up something messy.
Yeah.
One of our members last month was just new to Xero and she was having difficulty if she was in the bank reconciliation or bank feed screen and then she had to come out of that screen to add something in. She kept having to then reopen each screen. So she wants to know how you have all your screens kept open as tabs along the
Very easy.
file.
Very, very easy. Okay, Karen?
You either press F5 or Control.
Okay. Can we try a little demo or?
Yeah.
Yeah, you hold the Control key down and press the other screen that you want open, and you can have multiple tabs open across the top. So you can be going from one to the other. But if you go out of that and process, say, a spend money or receive money transaction, and you click back onto your dashboard, you go Control R to refresh your screen.
Okay, so you have to do Control R to
To
refresh.
refresh.
Karen,
Yeah.
can you put it here? I'm not sure. So what I would normally do is just double click it and it opens up what you want to do.
Oh, I'm calling, like if I'm on a PC.
Yeah.
So it's command.
Command.
Command, yeah.
So you would go to
There,
say,
is it?
yeah,
Yeah. So command, and see this little tiny button that's come up here?
yeah, so that's
Yeah.
another tab.
So it's on the tab, and then you can open up whatever you
So
like.
it's like using any browser. You can have as many tabs or many browsers open as you like.
Yeah.
And just switch from one to the other. It's just like being on the internet. So if you think internet, that's
Yeah.
how Xero works.
The other thing that you can do as well, which I do because I work with two screens, I have Xero open in two browsers. So I have Chrome in one screen, Safari in the other. So it's like being on two different computers. So you can do the same thing, but you don't have to refresh because the work is updating itself. Because sometimes I get a bit confused with tabs.
So you have the same entity open in two
You have the same
Yes.
entity open in two different.
So keep in mind, you cannot have more than one entity open, unlike your MWAG.
Yeah, so you get around
Or
that
you
by-
can by putting up your
If
different
you have them on a
browsers.
different
Yeah.
browser, you can.
Yeah,
If
so you
you're
can have
using the
three
wrong browser,
open.
you can't have different tabs with different entities.
Yeah.
Be very careful of that,
Mm.
because if you change something, you think you're changing it in one
Yeah.
entity and it
Yeah.
may be you're doing it in another. You've got employees or if you've got users that you do not divulge your passwords and your logons for your Xero file, because it does record who's made the transactions in there, which is a really good thing. Because if someone says,
I didn't do that.
You go, oh, well, yes, you did. You did this at 2:43 on Monday, the 23rd of December or
No,
whatever.
yeah.
So you can always track who's made the transaction. So be very careful that you don't divulge. And I must admit, I'm a little bit guilty of this because I give my girls access to my Xero log-on so that when I'm away, they can set up a new file under me because that's the only way it can come onto my subscription.
Right, yeah.
But only the people I trust.
Yeah, and you can always change it. What about, Sue and I were talking earlier about the favourite one, find and read code.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I'm just
Find
using
and
that.
recode. Yeah. Are you all familiar with that?
Hmm.
Okay, so you know when you have a client and a new client and there's been coding to one particular chart of account and you know, oh, that shouldn't go there. Hundreds of transactions going to one particular account. So in the old days you had to redo in every single one. So Xero now, I think I announced it earlier this year about the find and read code. And we're about to, it's in the advisor.
It's
the
in
only
the advisor.
problem is that you have to be an advisor, have advisor status, and one of our accountants won't give us advisor status, which is a bit of a bugbear for us. So we can't have that functionality. So whenever you're invited into a file, you must make sure that you're advisor status, so you can have that code. Hello.
Come on in.
That's okay. Yeah, so find and read codes under the advisor area, and then it's right down the back, the very last tab, and I'll just record that for our.
Just in the last,
It's in the very last tab, so
It's excellent. For example, if you've got a client that's coded everything to general expenses, you can go in and say, no, I want to recode all of those transactions. You might group them all to motor vehicle and group another whole lot to whatever. And it just happens like that. It's so
Or if
quick.
you've decided that that expense wasn't a business expense, you can actually go in, find it in that, it's still in that account, and make it all to non-taxable or out of scope.
Yeah.
So you can
there's
change
different-
the tax code.
There's different rules you can set up for that. There's accounts, contacts,
Yep.
so you can change the whole contact dates and whatever. It's very flexible and, it's so fast.
yeah, it's basically, you know, you could do transaction, at the end of the transaction, you can go and review, and then it asks you, do you want to go back and change the source transaction, or do you want to create a journal? So, which is a good thing as well. So, depending on who's doing the file.
And you've got to have your file unlocked for advisor, otherwise it won't search backwards past the lock stage.
Right.
It's a good point, Julie.
Yeah, I know, I couldn't work out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
But most
work
of
out.
these things we learn from experience.
I know.
What's wrong with this program?
But that's probably one of the most significant time-saving changes. That the good thing is you don't tell your clients about.
Yeah. But the other thing that I
Or the
think
cash
they're
code.
launching soon is the universal search button.
Yes.
Has anyone got an update on that, on the universal search?
No, they're only just
Talking about it.
developing it. No,
Yes.
started developing.
Yes.
Ah,
Yeah, it's in
okay.
development. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, because that would be the best feature
Yeah.
if we could get that, I reckon.
Yeah, true.
Because if you've got 10 bank accounts, it's like searching every single bank account for what it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, and the thing with Xero is they listen to us. So if you've got anything you want changed or anything you want developed or any queries or questions or problems, you just go onto the help and send an email to them and they listen to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another fantastic thing about Xero is they don't charge us anything to be a partner.
Oh, yeah.
They don't charge us anything to be a
Mhm.
partner.
Mm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We get it all. We get all the software and all the technology and everything for free.
Yeah, and I think you should. I think the resources in there help, and everything are just, just unbelievable. So we should take advantage of it. Karen and I were talking the other day about the new booster program. I just signed up for a business booster program. Did you use
I
that
actually
one?
promoted it at B&I this morning and got a referral straight away.
Oh, good, good. So that was about, it's an initiative by Xero to help start up businesses. So what the offer is really, so anyone who would have to use a $50 standard subscription, they're getting 50% subsidy for the first 12 months. but they've also got a mentor program. So when I signed up, having got my client had to make an application, so they have to basically go through a approval process to see that they're the right type of person who's going to do the program. And from what I read on the thing that, so when my client invites me back into the file, I'll actually get the resources as well. So I'll see the coaching that they're getting along the way. So it's just like, well, it's all brand new. So
So you will be included as a user on the file, which goes towards your partner recognition to silver or gold. However, you don't get the commission.
yeah, they just pay directly and they're paying 50% of the price. But I think it's great that 12 months.
Oh, okay.
I think it's just great that we're getting to see the resources that they're getting to see. So it means that we're involved with their program and how their business is progressing. I've got a client who's a brand new client in organic food, so she's really quite interesting. I think it's going to be great for her. She's very excited, and she's a food technologist, so she's got a food background. So I'm really excited about watching that and see how it goes.
Can we talk a little bit about the inventory side of Xero? Has anyone actually used the inventory side?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Because I used to have the items, and that's easy.
Yeah.
But can you explain a little bit more in depth about inventory and how that actually happens? Like, what level of inventory does it go up to? So what businesses can use it?
Okay. Well, it's once again, it's probably, let's equate it a bit to the inventory that's contained within MYB, but it's a lot simpler process to use. So before there was items and you could only buy and sell, so now you can buy and sell in inventory. I've just set up a wholesale they actually make trailers, so they buy trailers from China and they export them in, they make them all up. So we're doing quite a simple, inventory of their 6x4 trailer, their 5x6, whatever. So I walked in, we started Xero, we started with their opening balances, so that's a bulk upload. You use the template and you only use the template once. So then you're creating your opening balances, your purchase price, and your sale price, and then when you're selling your products, then you sell the item, it takes it out for you, just like an MYB would. But the really nice thing about it, on each item, on each item it has a little adjustment, so you can go in and do a simple adjustment to the item. These might not be inventory items because it's just a sample company. That's probably not going to work.
So what, you can change the description or something?
You can actually make an adjustment on the fly. So how you do an inventory adjustment in MYB, so it's just like that. So you get to, so it might be a miscount or some reason you've sold A and it should have been B, so you can add one A and take off one B into transactions, and then you can decide where you want to post it to. So I set up like an inventory adjustments posting code, so then I can track, if my client's making a lot of changes, why they're making changes. So look, to me it's effective, it's really easy, there's some great reports on sales, on items reports and things like that.
And what about those kind of build item? Doesn't build.
Doesn't build it.
Oh, okay.
So your trailer guide, it's whole products.
Yeah.
He's
It's a
buying
whole
whole products,
product.
yeah.
So that's one of the limitations.
Yes, I have a guy that builds sheds, but he needs to be able to build.
He buys sheeting, so he has 10 sheets.
So
That's
do you
right.
use an add-on for him?
No, he's still on MYO.
Okay.
Do you know of an add-on that we could do?
Oh, there's heaps of add-ons for inventory.
Unlimited.
It's Unleashed one.
What's the other
Oh
one?
dear, that's the one, yeah.
Maybe it's one of the original ones, but I don't know. I haven't used that.
What is on?
It's an inventory, it's an add-on to Xero that does inventory.
I would say that is like a higher level inventory management. The other ones like Chagecko and Deer are a lot easier to use. I've found that clients are able to pick them up easier. But Unleashed has a lot of power. It's a very powerful program, so which might not suit the Xero users.
That's like a build, you can have a building one, yeah, and build products out of
Yeah.
items and so on.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the inventory, is that in the, but is it in all modules? I wouldn't
Like,
imagine
so
so.
right from your standard
Yes.
upwards?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is there a certain subscription level for the inventory?
I think
Oh,
that
yes,
was the
that's what
question.
Julie
Oh,
just
sorry.
said now. So right from standard on,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, right,
which is your $25 a month one.
yeah, that's good.
So what, using Xero, you guys are wanting to have, what are the general things that go wrong, like errors or things like that?
We
You're not
had a
everyday users.
We had a situation yesterday actually where we weren't able to add any more payroll items
Oh,
when processing pay.
What,
No, it was a problem with the
Payroll
program,
category.
and one of the girls emailed Xero and said, I'm trying to add another pay item to the pay run, as she was working through the pay run, didn't work. So she emailed them, they said, yes, we know there's a problem, we're getting onto it urgently, but as far as I know, it was quickly resolved because the payroll was done. But we're right onto things, again, we're wrong, we're right onto it. We recognised they were aware of it and they were wrong to it.
in terms of like using, like
As in clients?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What can go wrong?
oh, no.
Okay,
If it
okay,
comes
okay.
off their hands on it.
Yes, bank fee, okay, I'll do mine. So bank fee, then we'll go around the room and share our client disaster areas. So one of the biggest problems is that I just sometimes just do the BAS return, and so I just charge for the BAS, and I have certain checks that I do. And always, the bank reconciliation or the fee has stopped halfway through the 3 months. And because they don't want to do monthly, they just want to do quarterly. So I have to then go back and do a painstakingly check of where the fee has stopped. And sometimes it's something like 2 transactions or 2 transactions in 1 month and then 2 transactions in another month. So sometimes the bank fees do have a slight hiccup.
Also, they can duplicate themselves.
They can duplicate themselves.
Credit cards,
Yes, I know.
ANZ.
And if you have a billing account, just say for the credit card, so I know,
Westpac billing.
a Westpac billing account, exactly.
It'll only download the main card, it won't download any other card that's attached to that billing account.
Unless, of course, the user, you can't, there is a way. Each user has to go in and activate it. However, the billing account, we should just have the amount of money that's been paid on all the cards. One of them had a hiccup, and always has a hiccup. It brings in all of that card's transactions as well. So you've got to go and delete all the transactions that are coming to that billing account. And it's, like if you have a client that has 10 cards on one account and then a billing account, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. So that's it.
Would it be better to import it rather than rely on the bank fees in that instance? Like say you've got the month statement there and do a month at a time and import it?
I do that policy with bookkeeping.
Oh,
Because these are people who want to do their own bookkeeping.
okay.
And because they know, they think that they can, because, you know, the marketing is so fantastic, they say, you can do it. It is beautiful and wonderful program, and it is. However, if you really don't have any inclination of any bookkeeping skills, that no matter what software program and how beautiful it
Doesn't
is,
matter.
you will just, you know, you won't get it. Because I don't do bank reconciliations or checking. And there was a couple of years ago, maybe even last year, Xero had put in, do not rely on this figure to say, even though you've got a big tick to say, well done, you've reconciled, that does not mean that's correct. So we now know that you have to go back and check the bank statement to say, yes, it is correct. Then you publish it, which is then snapshots it for you, so that in 3 or 4 months' time, when they come back and go, it's out of reconciliation, what have you done? You can go back to your published reconciliation report and go, well, actually, it was reconciled.
How do you look up that published report?
Oh,
Just through all reports?
yes,
Yes,
all
and
reports.
then it's published.
And then up the top, there's a little tiny, I think
Tab.
it's tab, and it's,
Yeah,
I'll just
shows the published reports.
reports. Yeah, so there's 4 tabs: summary, draft, published, and archived. Yeah, and archived reports. So, the other thing too about advisor status, if you don't have advisor status, you can't rename your reports. And so I find it frustrating when accountants don't give us that status, because all you see is bank reconciliation. And I like to really code mine like bank reconciliation, the name of the bank and the date of that bank statement, so that when you look in those reports you can see clearly what they are. So if you're not advisor status, it's just called bank reconciliation, and it's, to me, that's not really legal terms. It's just because the accountant's being a...
But who owns the subscription, the accountant or the client?
The accountant will. They're in control of it, and if you don't have a good relationship with your accountant, and they want to keep it, you know, they'll just give you cash coding. We only have one who does that to us. So a lot of other people that we work with, it's not a standard practice of accountants to do that.
Yeah.
But I think that it's, but I actually do complain about that. I ring Melanie Power and I complain to her. I ring Xero and I email them and saying this is not acceptable. And they go, yes, we understand that. Talk to your accountant, blah, blah, blah.
And you said, look, I'm
Hey,
being
no,
disadvantaged
yes.
here
I
because
know, we've tried that. Yeah, and the accountant still refuses.
even though
Yeah.
the customer said, I'd like to sue to
Perhaps you
have
could
advisory
suggest-
role.
Suggest to your client they need a new accountant.
Yeah, I know. I know, it is.
Customers agreed that you should have that role.
Yeah, I know. So we're still in the throes of it, so we'll, still continue to do that. But that's,
The accountant might own the subscription, but the client will be paying for it inevitably. They own the file. So really it's the client's choice, I believe.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And there's only, I don't have that problem. The client has the authority to say who has,
Yeah.
basically you have access to all of the information except for things like creating, the find and read codes, what else would there be, renaming. So it doesn't make any sense to me that they would
Yeah.
not want to grant you that
I
status.
mean, what would you do if you had it, other than maybe
Well-
put your journals in
Yeah.
maths and stuff
Yeah.
like that, which you
I
need to
think
do anyway?
if you look at the advisor, there's a lot of stuff in there like management reporting.
Yes.
And it can lead to all their reports as well. And so I think that's probably why they're careful, because they probably use Xero as their bank. Instead of using Handy, Software or some other accounting tool, they may use, Xero and their other products to do their accounts.
They're in agreement with the accountant, isn't it? That these are the duties that we perform, these are the duties you perform, sign it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter in the end. It's basically, I think like you said in your last podcast, it's about forming that relationship. And, and it's the same, it works both ways with the accountant that, if I say, I normally do the BAS and I send a weekly report or whatever, and they say, okay, well, I'm going to do a quarterly report for the board or whatever. So you go, fine, you do the end of quarter, I'll do a monthly, but like Karen said, it's just working out what everybody's doing, because nobody wants to duplicate work.
That's right.
Or send misinformation as well. So, in the end, it's the client that's important, it's their best interest. So I think we all need to work together. And
It's all about forming those relationships.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a question for you, Drew. What's your favourite add-on for Xero?
Practice manager workflow maps.
Well, at the moment, it's dear inventory because I've done it. I just did my first one actually, Xero integration. So I find it to be really simple inventory system.
Workflow. What's the other name?
Practice
Practice
manager.
manager. Workflow.
As practice manager and you're a partner, silver partner,
Yeah.
and above, you get it for free to work using your practice. But if you set it up for a client,
Yeah,
if
called
it's a
workflow
tradie
maps.
or whoever it is, it's called workflow.
Yeah,
maps.
and it really helps to track
Tracks time on jobs, timesheets, employees, timesheets. I'm using it in my practice extensively, and it's fantastic.
It is.
Really love
You
it.
can lodge BASs through it. And
Yeah, we're doing all our BAS and all our IASs through there.
And today they've announced that they're putting their signatures into
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah.
Electronic signatures on BASs will now be in Practice Manager.
Yeah.
You don't have to send it out to the
Send it
client
out
and
to
have them
sign.
I
to.
know. I've got a pile that thick of unsigned stuff. Like it's the last. I know.
You just drop it aside.
Don't tell anybody. No, I do. I get them to come in. They sign a box,
Yeah.
and I know you need to get them done before you lodge
Yeah.
it. But we're trying to change a culture within our practice. So I think that there's some grace given if there's you're seeing some changes happening in processes.
Yeah.
And that's one of our biggest bugbear is that. So if we can get electronically done, it's going to be so
Yeah.
much easier.
Well, yeah, I use DocuSign, which is probably one of my favourite add-ons as well
Yeah,
at the moment.
yeah.
That's well worth. And I'm also using quotes within Xero. Is anybody?
I just
use
recognised
quotes?
that one because of
Yeah.
a client of mine came in, she was doing quotes, and of course, if you don't know something, you go, yeah, I'm all over it.
Yeah, I
I go, okay, I'll try and work it out as on the fly. So, yeah.
I'm actually doing my quotes through Practice Manager.
Yes.
It's really
Yeah.
fantastic because you can pick up whatever tasks you're going to do
Yep.
for a client. So you can do your bookkeeping with your data matching, your reconciling, your payroll, and you can assign a cost to each one of those. And so you can put, I might spend 5 hours on that, 2 hours on that at this rate, da-da-da-da-da. But when you send the quote out to the client, you can remove all the costing and just have the total fee. But you can have all your description in there.
Yeah. Fantastic.
I think it's fantastic.
Yes, it's great, yeah. And it looks really professional, it goes out with your logo and everything on it.
Actually, just on that too, in Bookkeepers, we're probably going to announce tonight, we've got a workflow max workshop at the end of October.
Yeah.
So, which is going to be really good, just for bookkeepers who want to implement workflow max.
Yeah, I want to get all my staff involved in it. We're all using it, but there's things that we can
Yeah, because I'm now workflow max certified.
Oh.
So excited. It's
I am
great.
too, but I'm not doing it.
I got to the workshop.
No, I'm all
Be my
set up
assistant.
to
I
go.
need an assistant.
I'm all set up to go.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
really great.
Yeah.
Really, really great.
And the reporting in it can be manipulated too.
Yeah.
Like Kathy, my office manager, she's the one that set it up most, and she manipulates reports. So each month she's got all the report for all the IASs are due, and we have our checklist. And once you tick them all off, it says yes, they're done. Fantastic. We've gone from using spreadsheets to this, and it's just working brilliantly. Another couple of add-ons that I like are Receipt Bank, which we're using extensively for all of our clients. And finding out it's working really well, take a photo, send it to Receipt Bank, or have the suppliers email it directly to the Receipt Bank account for the client. And you can, if they don't know what account they're paying it on, you can tell it to look at all of the accounts, all the bank accounts, all the credit cards, and it will pick it up if it's the same amount. So it will work right across multiple accounts. Also, we've set up Deputy for a couple of our clients recently, which is a rostering system. We've set it up for a vet's practice and a radiology practice that have got staff in different locations, working fabulously. The staff have put their time sheets in there, and then it goes across to Xero for the payroll, and it's working really well.
And they're doing all their rosters.
Yep, doing all their rosters through there, and they can get all their reports and everything out of there. Kathy's actually become an accredited deputy person, provider, whatever. Yeah.
Actually, that'd be good because we could probably have like an add-on event, one of these events. And
That would be great.
Just talking about all the add-ons.
Yeah.
Because I spoke to another software provider, and I won't mention their name because this is all about Xero. But I said, well, where do you go to find add-ons for you guys? So, and do you share the same with Xero? And so they've got a whole page of applications. And I said, well, that's all well and good, but I want to have a package saying, okay, I just want to know all the ones for trades and the best ones for trades, under 5 mechanics, if it's a mechanic store. Like, how do you filter through the 500,000 of add-ons out there.
Yeah.
So it'd be good if you can have an add-on expert, you know, to say, okay, what's your client? Okay, you need this, this and this. We'll integrate it all and we'll show you how to do it. Like how do you learn, how do you know to integrate all the different add-ons? That's another event that I like to have here, is to integrate all the,
And it's not even about integrating the products, it's about maybe knowing where to go if you don't want to be an integration specialist.
True.
Like I believe,
That's
yes,
right,
if you want to pick deputy and be a deputy, you know, I've done trade gecko and deer, but you cannot be an expert, you know,
At
what's that
everything.
saying,
That's right, exactly.
Jules? The expert at everything, good at everything can,
Although, I like to challenge that just for a moment, because I suppose this is getting off Xero, but it's more like the bookkeeping industry itself, where it's moving. And I think as bookkeepers, there is a great opportunity for us to become more consultants. And like the old NYB days when you become a certified practicing consultant. So if you have, 4 or 5 add-ons in your armour, and if someone says to you, like other bookkeepers, you can sell your services to other bookkeepers. Like we're doing my husband and I are doing a workshop, Workflow Max, for Uniting Bookkeepers, because Synergy uses it extensively. So they're the things you might be able to become an expert at, DIA or deputy, and you can say, okay, for $500, I'll have 4 hours of my time. So that's money that you can get.
I know what Deb means though, so if she doesn't want to work deputy, she can come to me and I can say, yes, all right,
exactly.
we'll come and set that up for your client, but that's all we're doing. We're just setting up
Absolutely,
deputy,
yeah.
you pay us a fee,
Yeah.
the same
So we
thing.
need like a network of add-on specialists. That's what we need to have.
So because there's 400, probably more than 450 add-ons to Xero now.
Yeah.
I can't know all of
Yeah.
them. I
You
don't
have to
want to
be
know.
That's a great idea.
Like
Yes.
Charlene, you're using that, is it service?
Service name.
service
That's
yeah, that's a good
Is
one.
that for trainees or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
smaller.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've
Works,
got people
look,
on-
I've got a hire car business that's using it too.
Because that would be great, because I've got so many clients.
And it
to-
price-wise per job, it works out quite
Yeah.
well.
And that's the thing with a lot of the add-ons is they add cost as well. And if you've got a client that's just a small business, a small plumbing business or whatever, you want to keep their costs
You've
to
got
a
to be looking
minimum.
both ways.
And there's there's Simpro and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
they're a
it's
little bit
very
bigger and more
expensive.
expensive.
Yeah.
It's very
Exactly.
expensive.
And I think-
Tradeify and all of
Yeah.
those are a little bit more up the
Yeah.
levels, I
Because
suppose.
we've looked at Simpro for an electrical contracting client and it looked like it was fantastic, but it was very expensive.
Yeah.
Well, this, I think the most expensive would be 50 cents per job. But if you're doing more volume, your price per job drops. But the facilities that you get in it are really time savers. When you go into the little trades and managing your jobs, what you can do, they're putting out a really revamped version 4 in the next, I think it's the next month or so, which will have they're doing a little bit, I suppose, like Xero, where they've got a wish list, and they've really been proactive in taking on board what people are, wanting.
Yeah.
Just on that, Paula, that works out of our Newcastle office, she met a guy the other day that he puts everything in the cloud for you, and I can't remember the name of his business. But he said, we can have a receipt bank type of thing with our branding on it that he can set up. So I don't know whether that's worth looking at and what the costs are and so forth, or whether maybe he can work with people in the bookkeeping industry and provide something that's going to be more cost effective for our clients. So I'll look into that. It sounded quite exciting. But
And I think the main thing is just ask, with the Facebook groups that have been formed lately, and I think bookkeepers have always been very good, but if you've got a client, you just pose a question. I know the groups that I'm part of, including Uniting, normally within half an hour you've got an answer.
Yes.
So you just have to put forward your scenario, and it's saving you a lot of time, because we can all find out about these add-ons, but it's better to hear from someone who's had experience using it. So,
Because the other side of it for me is like the time it takes to actually learn
yeah.
a program. Like Workflow Max took me, and you have to have time with it. It took me 6 months to learn Workflow Max
Properly, yeah.
for everything.
Yeah.
So when I can see it, I can manage it. 6 months of my
Yeah.
time of night time and learning and mistakes and crying and
Available
frustration.
time.
Yeah, a lot of downtime for that. So
Yes.
what we're trying to do is have a little manual as well for our participants, so
Yeah,
that
that'd be great.
it's like a go-to saying, oh, how do you do that again? Because it's quite complex in its setting up. But once you do all that groundwork, and we're going to give you templates to say, and works out exactly how much your business is costing you, because you don't realise all your overheads. Even if you're a home-based business, there's lots of overheads that you have to still absorb, you know. So it really helps you think about that when you set your cost price on your base rate and stuff like that. I don't know why I went there for that thing,
Yeah.
but
And I think the main thing, because I'm implementing it at the moment, and I'm a bit the same, I keep picking it up and then I keep stopping because of time restraints.
Yeah.
It's stopping me all the time. So I've just got to, I'm focused on it at the moment, but I think the main thing is not losing billable time.
Yeah.
Because that's
that's
the
it.
biggest
it
thing.
is.
And I think the thing with that is we work the same. I thought, I haven't got time to do this. So we actually got the services of someone else to help us with it, set us up and train us. And that was great. And that's the sort of thing that you're going to be doing. So yeah, people can go to you. And then I've got Kath, that she specialises in that. She does all of the setting up of the jobs. She does all of the report pro formas and setting all that up. And so that's that one person that specialises in that. So we're trying to get, and I mean, it's easy for me because I've got four ladies that work for me, but if you're on your own, it's hard to do all that. But we're just trying to get every person to specialise in one thing instead of everybody trying to know everything.
Yeah. So I think it's time we probably wrap up. It's 5:28, so 5:30. So ladies, any other questions, quick questions before we wrap up? Okay. Great. Okay, so next month, I think it might be, I've got in contact with a gentleman from Cubio, so we might be able to do Cubio tricks and
Tips and tricks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so guys, thank you. Thanks everybody at home.
Thank you.
See you later. Bye.